Hello and welcome to Standard 7 of the Care Certificate Workbooks. My name is Daniel Dutton and I run the website dsdweb.co.uk, which provides free help, guidance and support for people that are studying for care qualifications. In this video, we will be looking at Standard 7, Privacy and Dignity. This standard expands on what we learned in Standard 5 about working in a person-centred way, with particular attention being paid to the person-centred values of privacy and dignity. We will explore what these values mean and how they can be integrated into your day-to-day practice, as well as looking at the importance of informed choice and active participation. For further information about this standard, visit dsdweb.co.uk by clicking the link in the description. This video should be used to support you to answer the questions in the workbook in your own words, based on your own experience and reflection. But before we go on, I'd like to ask you to like this video by clicking the thumbs up button below and to subscribe to my channel. This helps to support the channel by ensuring that more people can find it with the YouTube algorithm. First of all, what are privacy and dignity? Privacy means ensuring that you keep the personal information about the individuals that you care for confidential. It can also mean ensuring that they have time and space to themselves whenever they want it. Dignity is valuing people that are receiving care as unique individuals and respecting their opinions, preferences and choices even if you do not agree with them yourself. It also encompasses being courteous and professional, supporting individuals to maintain their pride and requesting consent. The next question asks you to describe situations where an individual's privacy or dignity may be compromised and how you could maintain it. It will be helpful to reflect on your own experiences of times when an individual's dignity could have been compromised, or the procedures that you follow in your day-to-day practice to prevent this from happening. Some examples could include requesting consent before commencing personal care, taking physiological measurements or sharing information with their family, encouraging independence by assisting individuals with tasks rather than doing it for them, knocking before entering an individual's personal space such as their bedroom, and respecting their wishes to be left alone. Activity 7.2c asks you to explain why you should not disclose anything about an individual that they wish to remain private unless it is appropriate to do so. This is important because individuals may have aspects of their personal history that they feel ashamed or embarrassed about, and so do not want others to know about their background as it may affect present relationships. In addition, they may have characteristics that they feel could make them a target for discrimination. Although the Equality Act 2010 makes it illegal to discriminate against individuals based on protected characteristics, such as sexual orientation or disability, sadly discrimination does still exist today. An individual may not want others to worry about them, so may not want family or friends knowing details about their health conditions or their financial situation. Finally, it is an individual's legal right to have their personal information kept confidential, and sharing it inappropriately could be breaking the law. Legislation associated with privacy includes the Data Protection Act 2018 and the Human Rights Act 1998, as well as common law of confidentiality. By respecting an individual's choices about whether they share information with others or not, care workers can also help to maintain a bond of trust. Of course, there are times where information may be shared with an individual's consent, without an individual's consent. This is covered in the previous video covering Standard 6 communication. The next question asks you to describe 3 different ways that can support individuals receiving care to make informed choices. Of course, you should provide the individual with as much information about their choices as possible. The information you provide must be factual and impartial, so you should not let your own personal views interfere with the thought process. You may also help individuals to analyse the potential outcomes of each choice and, where necessary, obtain expert guidance. For example, if an individual has to decide whether to undergo a medical procedure or not, they should be supported to obtain the information they need from a health professional, such as their doctor or surgeon. Or if an individual is considering taking legal action against an organisation, then they may need to be supported to get advice from a solicitor before they can make that decision. In addition to professionals, it may also be worth discussing the options with others, such as friends, family, advocates, or other people that have faced similar decisions in the past. The next tasks ask you to consider the terms risk-taking, risk assessment, and risk enablement before answering the two questions. Risk-taking refers to something that may potentially have adverse consequences. However, it is something that everybody does on a regular basis, including individuals receiving care, and something that everyone has a different attitude towards. Risk assessment is the process of analysing potential risks and working to minimise or eliminate the adverse effects. Finally, risk enablement involves supporting individuals to identify and assess their own risks and having the autonomy to make their own choices. Risk assessments can be used to support individuals to make their own decisions because it allows them to gather all the relevant information and weigh up the pros and cons of each decision. This helps individuals to make informed choices with prior knowledge of potentially negative outcomes if things do not go to plan. It also assists with putting measures in place to reduce the risks as much as possible. It is important to ensure that an individual's choices are not influenced by your own personal views, because we each have our own unique attitude towards risk, which is comprised of our own background and experiences. Some people are more risk averse than others. Therefore, even when given the same information, two different people may make two different choices. We can offer guidance from a professional, evidence-based health and social care perspective, but must not let our personal views interfere with the decision-making process. The next question gives us 3 scenarios and asks whether we would support an individual to challenge a decision that has been made. The first scenario states an individual has been transferred to a new service or situation without being informed of the change. In this scenario, it would be right to question the decision because a change has been made to the individual's life without them being informed or them giving their consent. The second scenario is an individual has consented to being referred to a speech therapist for support after a stroke. There would be no need to challenge this decision because the individual has already consented to it. Finally, an individual's diet plan has been changed, but they are not sure why. This decision should be questioned because the individual does not understand why the change has been made to the food that they're eating, and it appears that they have not consented to it either. The second part of this question asks why you would support an individual to question or challenge decisions made about them by others. If an individual has had changes made to their care without being consulted or informed and without giving their consent to the changes, then these decisions should be questioned or challenged. As a health and social care worker, it is your responsibility to empower individuals to do this using the correct channels. This could mean simply opening a dialogue with the person who has made the decision to understand the reasoning behind it and to ensure they have the correct facts, or it could mean supporting the individual to raise a formal complaint. Person-centered care means working in partnership with an individual to develop a plan of care that takes their needs, wishes, and preferences into account, valuing them as people and respecting their choices. By working in this way, individuals feel valued and have increased self-confidence and self-esteem. Keeping with the theme of challenging and questioning decisions, Activity 7.4D gives you 2 examples and asks you to describe how you would question or challenge and how you would report your concerns to the relevant person. The first example states an individual tells you that their medication has changed and they are experiencing side effects. They think this is because of another pre-existing condition. You could support this individual to question this by booking an appointment with their GP to discuss their concerns. You may also, with their consent, accompany them to the appointment to help them to express their concerns. In addition, it may be necessary to report this to your manager as well as informing the rest of your team. The second example states one of the individuals you support who has dementia has been declined access to a service or activity as it is believed it may cause unwanted negative emotions. You may empower the individual by supporting them to question why this decision has been made about them. You may mention that the individual has not been given a choice in this decision, nor been given the rationale behind it. You may also mention that it is illegal to discriminate against an individual based on their disability. This should be reported to your manager or, if necessary, escalated to senior management. You may also support the individual to issue an official complaint or report to CQC if the matter is not resolved. Active participation means to promote an individual's rights to engage in everyday activities and relationships as independently as possible. Activity 7.5a, b and d provide you with a scenario. A young ex-serviceman is being rehabilitated in hospital after receiving significant trauma to both legs. He is soon to return home to his wife and children with support of an occupational therapist to ensure his home is equipped with the correct services to continue his rehabilitation. Prior to sustaining his injuries, he was engaged in many social activities and enjoyed sports such as basketball and surfing. It then asks you 3 questions about this scenario. Firstly, how would you enable the individual to make informed choices about their life? You could do this by giving them all the relevant information they need to make informed choices for themselves, including getting specialist advice from medical staff and guidance from others that may have been through similar situations. This may involve working with them on risk assessments. You may also want to find information about groups that could provide peer support or offer alternative sporting activities, for example, wheelchair basketball, so that the individual can decide if they want to participate in these activities. The next question asks why it is important to enable the individual to develop skills in self-care. Well, by developing their own skills in self-care, individuals can maintain a level of independence and control over their own lives, which helps to increase confidence, self-esteem, and overall well-being. The final question asks why it is important to enable the individual to maintain their own network of friends within the community. This is important because it helps individuals to maintain their own identity and self-image, as well as promoting their well-being. By valuing individuals, showing them respect, and demonstrating that their views are important, a care worker can promote and encourage active participation because the individual will feel valued, develop confidence, and understand that they have control over their care provision. This helps to promote independence, identity, self-esteem, and well-being. The next question asks you to list 4 ways that you could support active participation. Examples could include asking an individual for their views and preferences, listening to and acting on what an individual says, providing information that assists with making an informed choice, respecting the decisions an individual makes, supporting them to make contact with support groups, and helping them to maintain links with their friends, family, and community. We all have our own personal views, however, it is important that we are aware of them so that they do not influence the quality of support that we provide. Activity 7.6b asks you to write a written account of how your personal views could restrict an individual's ability to actively participate in their care. Although this will depend upon your own individual views, some examples that you may want to consider include: if you believe that angling is a cruel sport, you may try to stop an individual from partaking in fishing tournaments. If you are a vegetarian, you may influence an individual to reduce the amount of meat in their diet. If you are particularly risk averse, you may try to prevent an individual from taking calculated risks in their lives. And we've come to the end of Standard 7. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found it useful. If you require any additional help or want to send feedback about this video, please feel free to use the comments section below or visit my website dsdweb.co.uk. The link in the description will take you to more detailed information for this standard. And if you haven't done so already, please click the like and subscribe buttons below. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, goodbye.